There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
So, you might be like me and we're wondering, what is all this UFO talk all about?
UFOs exist. The U.S. government found quite a number of them, and they are indeed of non-human origin.
Welcome to the Lucid Lens. The U.S. government has finally admitted that UFOs are real and that they've been studying them. Since getting wind of this news earlier in the year, I decided to take a close look, and to my surprise, I quickly discovered a mountain of evidence uncovered by many researchers who have been studying this topic since Project Blue Book in the 1950s. I would like to provide you with easy-to-digest, informative, data-driven videos from credible sources, with maybe a bit of my own humor and perspective sprinkled in. I am by no means an expert. In fact, I couldn't give two squirts of piss about this topic 6 months ago. I'm a sci-fi fantasy nerd, gamer dad, and I watched The X-Files as a kid in the 90s. But it wasn't until US government officials, including former presidents, began coming forward and admitting that UFOs were real, that I was pulled into this topic and really started paying attention.
When it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you. There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
The Director of National Intelligence just a few days ago released a new report on 144 sightings of what they call unidentified aerial phenomena.
Well, I don't believe they're coming from foreign adversaries. If they were, why, that would suggest that they have a technology which is in a whole different sphere than anything we understand.
We obviously take the issue of unidentified aerial phenomenon seriously. We know that in some cases, these phenomena have impacted military training.
If you didn't already know, the United States Congress had its first official hearing on UFOs since the 1950s on July 26, 2023, where 3 credible former military veterans gave both their experience encountering UFOs as well as what one whistleblower uncovered during his investigation.
The circumstances surrounding UAPs has captivated the attention of the American people for decades. This is largely due to the lack of transparency by our own government and the failure of our elected leaders to make good on their promises to release explanations and footage and mountains of overclassified documents that continue to be hidden from the American people. It is unacceptable to continue to gaslight Americans into thinking that this is not happening.
It shouldn't take the potential of non-human origin to bring us together. For decades, many Americans have been fascinated by objects mysterious and unexplained, and it's long past time that they got some answers.
My name is Ryan Fobbs Graves, and I'm a former F-18 pilot with a decade of service in the U.S. Navy. I have experienced advanced UAP firsthand, and I'm here to voice the concerns of more than 30 commercial aircrew and military veterans who have confided their similar encounters with me. As we convene here, UAP are in our airspace, but they are grossly underreported. These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine.
My name is David Charles Grusch. I was an intelligence officer for 14 years, both in the U.S. Air Force, both active duty Air National Guard and Reserve, at the rank of major, at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA. I was my agency's co-lead in unidentified anomalous phenomena and transmedium object analysis. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
As you know, my name is David Fravor. I'm a retired commander in the United States Navy. In 2004, I was a commanding officer of Strike Fighter Squadron 41, the world-famous Black Aces. The controller had told us that these objects had been observed for over 2 weeks, coming down from over 80,000 feet, rapidly descending to 20,000 feet, hanging out for hours, and then going straight back up. For those who don't realize, above 80,000 feet is space. So as you started to turn back towards the east, the controller came up and said, "Sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is at your cat point roughly 60 miles away in less than a minute." You can calculate the speed.
Based off of each of your experiences and observations, do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
Yes. and here's why. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
And we did see the image. And we did meet with one member of the flight crew who took the image. The image was of something that I am not able to attach to any human capability, either from the United States or from any of our adversaries. And I'm somewhat informed on the matter.
The American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena. Those are not the words of a UFO Twitter account. Though that is a direct quote from Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. We should have disclosure today. We should have disclosure tomorrow. The time has come.
Since this historic hearing, the floodgates have opened. Many more whistleblowers have come forward both to Congress and inspector generals, and the media is finally waking up to the reality that many have been claiming for nearly 80 years.
Earlier this year, Congress passed something called the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023. The law requires the U.S. government to tell the public what it knows about the countless unidentified flying objects that have been spotted in the skies above Earth over the past 3,000 years. It's designed to be, and it very well could be, a transformative piece of legislation. And it comes at a time when we can finally say with confidence that the most unlikely sounding theories about UFOs are actually true. Yes, these things are real. They're not all weather balloons. They're not experimental aircraft from this or any other country. Whatever they are not of human origin, nor do they behave according to the laws of known physics.
All of the pieces and all of the players are starting to fall into place, and the biggest conspiracy in human history is becoming unraveled.
According to the latest report that's out, a secret CIA office has spent 2 decades recovering UFOs from around the world, has at least 9 of them in its possession.
On this channel, I'm going to do my best to keep the videos brief and to the point, because let's face it, attention spans aren't what they used to be. I want to bring those of you who are new to this topic on a slow journey of understanding, just like I went through. I know this is a lot to take in if you haven't been keeping up with it. I mean, it's all pretty fucking crazy, right? And don't listen to the people who think this is all just a distraction. I mean, are you distracted? We can multitask pretty well these days. Besides, the list of credible people openly studying and talking about UFOs is growing by the day. We're talking professors at Stanford and Harvard, former high-ranking military and government officials, numerous private and civilian programs, all standing up to uncover the truth. This is the most important topic in human history, and until recently, hardly anybody was talking about it. I've already got a career. The only reason I'm here is to help spread the word, not to convince you of anything. But we need more voices to shine light on the truth. We need more legislation to pass to remove the secrecy and overclassification of UFOs. That's right, more legislation, because the Senate started putting UFO legislation into law back in 2020. I bet you didn't know that. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz to help spread the word and feed the algorithm that'll likely turn sentient and take over one day. Be good to each other, and I'll see you on the flip side.